San Antonio visiting Minnesota early on. It's Tony Parker just warming up from three, knocks down this one. San Antonio goes up by 4 points. More Tony Parker, this time the second quarter. Buries that three, cuts the Minnesota lead to 6 points, and then it's Al Jefferson. He started the season with 3 straight double-doubles, gets that to go on Tim Duncan. Duncan this time finding Parker for the little floater in the third quarter. San Antonio down by 6 at that point, and it's Mike Miller on the outside looking for 3. He had 25 for the Timberwolves and pushes their lead to 5 points in the third quarter. Now Tim Duncan on Al Jefferson. What a matchup this was. Duncan gets this one to go. He had 30 on the night. Tony Parker trying to stay in bounds, finds Roger Mason Jr., who buries the 3 there. We've got a tight game in the fourth quarter. Al Jefferson coming back from Minnesota, gets this little lay-in to go, and the Timberwolves are up by 1. San Antonio trying to fight back. It's Tim Duncan with a little jump hook, ties the game, and it goes into overtime, and that's where we find, well, it's the Timberwolves once again. Mike Miller shooting, Mike Miller making San Antonio down a basket in the overtime, and Tony Parker trying to bring him back, gets the little driving layup. That makes it 110 to 108 Timberwolves. Tim Duncan keeping it tight for San Antonio just inside in the lane. Easy shot for Duncan, and that puts the Spurs up by a bucket. Al Jefferson fighting back inside for Minnesota, ties it up late, and Tony Parker trying to keep this thing alive, drains the shot to send it to a second overtime. It's a thriller in Minnesota. Tony Parker in that second overtime, driving, and floating, gets the bucket to go, and the Spurs go up by 4. Another Tony Parker play. He drives and gets the bucket, and San Antonio avoids an 0-4 start for the season. They haven't done that since their first year in San Antonio. Big story on the night. Tony Parker goes for 55 points and 10 assists in Minnesota's 4-point loss to San Antonio. Detroit visiting Toronto. Allen Iverson with the Pistons, not able to play tonight. Chauncey Billups yet to take his physical in Denver. Early on for Toronto, it's Chris Bosh with the jumper. Toronto looking to start their season at 4-0 for the first time in the franchise's history. Second quarter, Tayshaun Prince just using Andrea Bargnani. Goes right around him for the slam dunk. And Detroit up 7. Tayshaun shot 10 of 13 on the night here. Rodney Stuckey replacing Iverson in the starting lineup. Misses the shot. Jason Maxiell buries the rebound, and Detroit cruising in the second quarter. Third quarter action. Out to Tayshaun Prince for the three-pointer. He was 2 of 3 beyond the arc on the night. Detroit up 11 at that point. Then Rodney Stuckey going right around Jose Calderon. Stuckey had 14 for the Pistons in a starting role. Their 15-point lead in the third quarter cut down somewhat when Chris Bosh goes to work, spinning move inside, cuts the lead to 9 points in the third. Then fourth quarter, more Chris Bosh, this time in for the two-handed jam, and Toronto right back in this thing. Bosh had 26 points and 13 rebounds on the night, another double-double, and more Chris Bosh. Check out all the moves, getting right around Tayshaun Prince, lefty against lefty, and we've got a 2-point game in the fourth quarter. Little defense from Toronto this time. Bargnani with the block on Rip Hamilton. Right place, right time. Rasheed Wallace knocks home the jumper. That was the big play in the game. Detroit pushed the lead out to 6. Coming back the other way, it's Jose Calderon, fresh off a 25-point career-high night against Milwaukee. He had 24 tonight and cuts the lead to 4 with less than 2 minutes to go. But in the end, it was Tayshaun Prince, high man for the Pistons tonight. 27 points for Prince. Detroit wins this one 100-93 and remains undefeated early in the season.